What a difference a day makes. It is a little later, but it is almost 68 degrees outside. Now, it says it's raining, but it's not. The sun is out. It's very, very windy, though, so we are going to have a storm. Maybe that is the literal forecast, and maybe it'll rain later, but it's not raining now. There's my girls. We outside. Get off my picture. That's amazing. I knocked a stack of pictures off the other day off my table, and she's walking around with my painting in her mouth. I'm like, hey, but apparently now she thinks they're for her. She's funny like that. No. Does that smell good? Or do you really think it's yours because one of them landed on the floor? That's how her mind works. All right, let's see if this is gonna work. Good morning, it's Barbara. It is Friday. Oops, I didn't say that. I didn't say that when I was inside. These are from me. That dog. No, Maze, knock it off. So it is really windy out here, so it may not work to podcast out here because you may not be able to hear me very well. But I'll try to speak up. How's that? There are some birds out here. I was hoping we would see some birds. Okay, Maze, go lay down. Go play. Go get Pearl. It's enough. Maisie is feeling very needy yesterday. Maze, no, it's enough. This isn't for you. Move. Good girl. We're rude in our house. Move is one of their commands. That's Dennis's fault. He started commands with his first dog before I met him. One of them was move. She just wanted cuddles and cuddles and cuddles last night. So I groomed her. So I brushed her. And she just, oh. So she liked that. So that was good. And Pearl's just going to sit here next to me, so. I'm a terrible mother. I'm not a terrible mother. I try to be a good mother. I try to be a good doggy mother. I try to be a good kid mother. Anyway, so I have pictures to show you. I did knit yesterday and worked on my granito for a while. And I painted. And it was another one of those days that I almost felt like I was marking time a little bit. It wasn't, I was feeling fine, it wasn't any big deal, but it just, at the end of the day, I thought, oh, I felt like I was marking time today. I'm not sure why. Dennis had his game last night. He does D&D with his friends, same friends for the last 45, 48 years. And even Lenny plays now, but he didn't play before because it was just such a long drive. And they played on Friday night, and it kind of interfered with his weekend with Liz, who works still. All right, so I worked on a painting last night. And it was funny. Well, this is the painting. This is a painting I did in January, and I couldn't find. See how windy it is? I couldn't find the picture this was based on. It's based on a picture from Tanzania, and I think this is the Ngorongoro crater from the inside. But I went out on my pictures and I found this picture, so I think that picture is based on this picture, just because of the way the trees are in the back of the mountain. I'm pretty sure this is the picture. So I did a new version of this picture. But the comparison is not, it's not really a direct comparison for, this was painted in January. And this was before I got my good paints, my good brushes. This was maybe, I think this was the first picture I painted after I decided to try painting from the pictures I took on my vacations. This is the first one. It was from January. I didn't say when in January, but in theory it shouldn't matter, but anyway, it says January. And this is what I painted yesterday. It's a little more representational than this one. Colors are so interesting in my January one, but I think it's partly because of the paints that I used. Anyway, so again, I would describe this as a little bit, it's not primitive, because I think people who do primitive paintings understand the concepts of their medium. This was a new person learning how to paint watercolors. And so is this. I mean, who's kidding who? This is too. I can see water lines and things. But when I was painting last night, it was really interesting to me because I was very unhappy with my painting. I mean, I got to, one point and I was going to stop painting on it because I didn't like the way it was turning out at all. Which is a little bit where I was with La Boca, and I thought, well, let me just finish it. I'll learn something from finishing it and being unhappy with it. And by the time I was finished with it, I had been able to fix the things that were the areas that were really bothering me. This clump of grass was a real problem for me, and I like how it turned out. And when I got in the middle of this big grassy area, I'm like, what the heck am I going to do with that? And I did a lot of stuff that didn't look very good until I figured out how to make it look better. So anyway, I found it really interesting because I went through that same process in my La Boca, that halfway through it, I was like, this looks terrible. This isn't going to, I'm not going to be happy with this, but, well, let me just keep going and see where I end up and try to learn while I'm doing it. And I ended up liking my La Boca pretty well too. So, but in my videos, I have, people have said that, you get to a place in your painting and you're like, oh, this is going terrible. So it's not just me. Notification. And I just either I have to remember it and not go there, or when I go there I have to remember that it's part of the process and I need to not give up. I think that the point is I have to just finish the painting, period, whether I think I'm going to like it in the end or not. And I don't always like my paintings in the end. And sometimes I don't think you can, if you come to the end of your painting and you don't like it. In watercolor, you can't necessarily keep doing stuff to it that's going to make it better. You can't overpaint areas very often without it starting to be mud and that kind of stuff. So anyway, I painted and I knit. And I hung out with my dogs, and I combed Maisie really well, so she loved it and she needed it, and she's gonna have to get a haircut pretty soon. Did you hear me talking about you? She just came back out. Did you hear me talking about you? Yeah. Yeah. There's my girls. There's my girls. So anyway, it was a nice day. It never got to 70, it got to 63. But that's okay. going to get to 70 today. The sun, it's partly cloudy, so the sun's going in and out, but if the sun gets a chance to really shine today, it's going to be 70. I'm wearing my Archer, and when I walked out on the back here on the deck, when the sun was shining, I thought, ooh, my Archer's going to be too much, but it's perfect for when the sun isn't shining, and it's perfect for the house. So I will probably keep it on, unless I decide to sit out here in the sun, and then I will change it. And more of my earrings. They have a little texture, I think. I didn't even like polish them or anything. Yeah, they need to be a little polished. They have a texture on them. But now these feel more like the style of big earring that has come back. These do not feel so retro, i.e. out of style, as some of the other ones. The big, long blue ones I wore the other day. And those were not comfortable. They had a button, they had a post with a button, and the button was actually a little bit soft. What's with you and my paintings? Am I going to have to be very careful about where I leave my paintings now? So they weren't actually comfortable. The posts, you had to jam them in, whatever. Anyway, I don't think I'll be wearing those. I just wore them for you guys, and they didn't last long. In fact, many of my big earrings haven't lasted all day. Either they've interfered with my knitting, my sweater, or they just felt like too much. I have at least one pair that they're so heavy, although they're clips. They're clip earrings. That's how heavy they are. But I don't, well, I can wear them for the video. But they're not, lots of the earrings I'm wearing are not lasting all day. Let me just put it that way. Although on these cool kind of rainy days, my sweaters aren't all lasting either. Yesterday I wore my garden gate all day because it's so soft and cushy, but I put another sweater over top of it because I was cold. Yeah. I should have saved my garden gate for today, although I can wear the same thing 2 days in a row. You don't care, right? I don't remember who wrote the Archer. I'm terrible. But I wrote it in my book because I am keeping a journal in January, because I'm keeping track of the temperature for my temperature library that I'm doing with Christy. And I'm pretty much weighing myself every day, and I'm writing that down, and a few other details about what I'm eating, and you know, if there's something important, the kids came today, or that kind of stuff. Important, big deal things. And not all of those, but some. That wasn't the wind, that was Pearl. So anyway, I'm keeping a journal, and on the right-hand pages, I just have, a few lines every day. I could use my 5-year journal for this if I wanted to, because, and I should be using my 5-year journal. But I'm going to keep going the way I am, because on the facing pages I have craft information, and so that's where I list all my colors for my temperatures, and I listed a page of my that I was kind of keeping track of my acquisitions before I stopped buying anything, and every time I start a new project, I have a project page for each of my projects. So I can go back, because I did this in 2021, I can go back and look. Because I have that information. So that is my plan, to keep up it's just, what was the temperature today? How much did I weigh this morning? And other details. One thing I keep track of is whether I drank my coffee black or with cream. I really do think that has a huge effect on my weight, because I think cream breaks my fast, and intermittent fasting has been a big part of the weight loss. And so not waiting a long time before you have your first meal, or you start eating in the day, I think is important for for my weight. So I'm keeping track of whether I'm having cream or if I'm having black coffee. And I go back and forth because TMI, cream keeps me regular. So, but I am acquiring a taste for my coffee black. I don't think I would ever order black coffee in a restaurant if I ever go to a restaurant again in my lifetime, because the quality of the coffee, the tastes of the coffee in restaurants is so variable. Well, normally you put your own cream in a sit-down restaurant, so I would taste it first and then decide. But yeah. But at home, I'm acquiring a taste for it. I am, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing. I think having cream too early in the day is not good for me. It just starts my gastric juices going and makes, breaks my fast. I mean, I really do think it breaks my fast, so, which I don't want to do. Is that our bird? I think it might be. Does that mean it really is spring? It really is spring. And I'm out on the deck. I guess I'll be out on the deck today. I was thinking about my next painting project, and lots of the professional painters who have YouTube channels who talk about using a limited palette. And by that they mean on any one picture, they only use 3 or 4 colors on any one picture, and all the colors that end up in the picture are made from those 3 colors. And so I was thinking about, doing that and seeing what I come up with and play like that. And, I think I'm just gonna make up a picture out of my imagination and see what happens. But I think I'm gonna try that. So, okay, I've been talking a long time. I didn't know I was gonna talk so long, but it's so beautiful out here. Pearl's talking too. So, I will say goodbye. I do want to remind you that we're doing the Ode to Joy make-along. If it's bringing you joy, please let us know and tell us about it. And I also want to remind you, today is Friday. I want to remind you, tomorrow we're having our Zoom craft together, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, which is 11 a.m. Pacific Time and early evening Europe. And the Zoom meeting link is in Ravelry. And if you're not on Ravelry, you can email me and I will send you the link via email. We would love to have you, and that will be tomorrow, the 27th, Saturday. So I hope you can join us. That would be so much fun. So I will go leave my pets, my bird and my dogs. They'll probably stay outside. The bird will definitely stay outside. Please take good care of yourselves. Please have a good day, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Stay safe and stay sane.